Bellina Show, Monday. Louis Bellina Show, final hour on a Monday. Presented by CC Electric. They have free estimates and military and veteran discounts. That is CC Electric. Here, I'm going to just lay it out to you. This is how we do between now and 2 o'clock. Got to wrap up. Text message sweep. We did roll call. It is closed. People are texting and roll call. Your name, please. Where are you? And how you're listening. The Zone is not an acceptable how. Zone, 1150 AM, 93.7 FM, radioagland.com. The Zone app, Alexa, that's what we're looking for. You text me those three things. You could text anything else, after that. But I need to know those three things. And we'll blind draw when we're done today. So text message sweep. I like to share, though. A lot of people had a lot to say. And for me, it's just fun to know more who am I hanging out with, who's listening each day. I get a kick out of it. So text message sweep in about 90 seconds. We'll wrap that up. Got to talk some Aggie softball. I got to listen in. Ethan Daren and Bear after the win Sunday. Listen in Aggie softball. Trisha Ford after the team was eliminated by Arizona State. They got run ruled. It was a walk-off grand slam. They did not force. They never beat Arizona State. Lost on Saturday. Got the rematch, game one of the regional final, and got run ruled. It was pretty definitive. That, and we'll see what else happens before 1 o'clock. How's that? To the text message sweep we go on the Louis Bellina Show Monday edition. Charlie H., listening daily from Newport Beach, California, on the Zone app. Love the Ags, Texans, and Astros. Charlie, if you're living life, and I've been to Newport Beach, that's pretty epic, awesome. Brings a smile to my face. Alex texted and said, Alex, Bryan, Texas, 93.7 FM, women's tennis national champions, Whoop. I agree with that. Is there anything stronger than Whoop, or is Whoop the strongest we got? Hi, Louie. Oh, Joni in College Station. Hi, Louie. What's up, Joni? Listening at home in College Station on my Alexa, what do you think of ex-Packer Aaron Rodgers signing another one-year deal with the Steelers? Simple. He's better than anything they have, but he's still a sign of how bad it is. When you take a look at quarterbacks in the NFL, I think he's still a top half quarterback, which is a sign of how bad quarterbacking is in the NFL. So the continued Aaron Rodgers is just a sign of how bad it all is. But he's still better than half the quarterbacks in the NFL. And the Steelers' inability to move on, but he's still better than half the quarterbacks. So why not? Really, seriously, it doesn't matter. Why not? They hired Mike McCarthy, and once they did that, nothing mattered from that moment on. Scott in Austin texted and said, listening on the Zone app, go Cubbies. Hell yeah. Looking forward to an Old Style in Wrigley this summer. You're going? Who are you going to go see? Just kind of wondering. I've been to Wrigley twice. One time when I went, it was the only reason I went. I did 3 games in 3 days, and I did everything signature Chicago. When I landed at the airport, I got my rental car, and I drove straight to Lombardi's and got the full meat pie. I went to the Blue Man Group. I went to 3 Cubs games in 3 days. And I sat in 3 different sections. In the first night, because there was a night game I sat in the dead center field bleachers, had the greatest time in the universe with the bleacher bums. And yeah, I drank nothing but Old Style. So Scott and Austin had the most incredible time in the world. Karen Hopkins, I'm listening to the Louis Bellina Show on the radio in my car. Again, I prefer like 1150, 937, but okay. Radio in the car. On the way to watch the men's NCAA golf tournament traditions. Cool. Very awesome. I love the Texas Aggie National Winners women's tennis team. Fun to watch. I said it before, man. If you've never been to one of these tennis matches, it's crazy how awesome it really is. I'm not kidding you. Tennis in person, college, and I'll stick with A&M. The venue, all of it is just really awesome. Nick from Milam County, on the river in a boat listening to zone1150.com through his iPhone and Flip 5 speaker? And Lou, that's you. You're an idiot. Sometimes gig 'em. I am. There ain't no doubt about that. I think we all are, but I know I am. There ain't no lie in that story. Let's see. They don't put their name. Oh, no. At the end. Sean. Howdy, Lou. Listening to you from Schulenburg, Texas, on the way to Corpus Christi to work. Listening on Aggieland AM, the Zone Radio. So that's 11:50 a.m. Fantastic Aggie athletic weekend. Oh, yeah, it was. Great national championship women's tennis and baseball series win over Mississippi State. Thanks for your great show. Everything in there is awesome, but the thanks for the great show part. I think a lot of people would throw hands with you over the great show part, but I'll take it. The win over Mississippi State, I don't think, that's the thing about data and analytics. I don't think there's any data or analytics that explain A&M beating Mississippi State. People hate intangibles. I'm one of those that likes to bet on the 8 times out of 10. Aggie baseball has 100% defied any analytics, any meta kind of conversations, because you can't go 3-7 in game ones and be a top 10 team. They are. They're going to be a national seed. Most of what they've done, but their offense, they'll mash and bash. That was the Friday. Sunday, they got 13 walks and only scored 7 runs. They stranded a small village. Your closer yacked up a lead, in the 8th. 7th, I guess it was, by a guy that's thrown 7 in the 3rd innings, sent them 3 up, 3 down, and gave you 2 scoreless when you needed it the most. There's no analytics for that. A team that's learned how to win all year long, that being down 0-1 in a series probably inspires them versus any negative connotation you want to give it. There's no quantification for anything I just said. Continuing in the Texas Mobile and Lube Express inbox, Jim is listening via the Zone app at his place in Wixon Creek. Joe Orsak. Thank you. Brox. Lou, listening on 1150 The Zone on a job site in beautiful Hearn, Texas. Gig 'em Aggies and Cubs. Brox, what do you do? If you don't mind me asking, maybe you can't share. Maybe you don't want your boss to know. But just wondering, what do you do? What's the job site you're on, man? Let's see. Tony Montoya. He's listening in Iola on the Zone app. Roy Brantley. Listening as I'm walking from voting in College Station, and he's listening on the Zone 1150 AM. Let's see. Scott Henniger. He said he's at the bank. No joke. Where else would you be? Scott Henniger is my banker, and I'm at First National Bank. And I a million times over, I've talked over and over. You hear me, Mr. Voice, hey, I have my hand raised because everything I say is true. I Brazos County Bank, I struggled. I hated my bank, but it's a pain to move banks, so you need to mean it. And Scott and the entire gang at Brazos County Bank and customer service, and I didn't have to struggle. And I went through about 3 other banks before I found Brazos County Bank. From the first time I stopped by just to check them out till every time I stop by, I actually don't use the drive-thru. I love to walk in and just say hi. I feel listened to. I trust them. A very rare experience. I believe they call it customer service. Brazos County Bank is a part of a team of local community banks, and they've been serving Texas for over 130 years. Brazos County Bank, member FDIC, an equal housing lender, plus a division of First National Bank of Huntsville. Yeah, all that stuff. All true. Scott Henniger at the bank, 93.7. Tough softball regional. I think that might be an understatement. Tennis, thumbs up. Baseball, thumbs up. Football, 5-star. All correct. Josh in Somerville, listening on the Zone app. Let's see, from Troop. I have to amend one thing. Our son is in the Marines. Okay. That was from Gary and Rita. Okay. Bob and Brian. Troop is in East Texas near Tyler. Thank you. I didn't know where Troop, Texas was. And that's Bob and Brian, who's driving down Harvey Road, listening on 1150 AM. Howie, class of 75. Troop Tiger is about 10 to 12 miles south of Arp, Texas. Where's ARP, Texas? You can't do that. You can't use a reference point I don't know. Where's ARP, Texas? Some years back, Ags had a defensive lineman from Troop ARP area. Howie from Wellborn, listening on 1150 AM while driving. Troop ARP? You can't do me like that. Robert, tune in radio, Deanville, Somerville, and Caldwell for ups. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Brandon, listening on the AM in town. Oh, okay. This is something that, yeah, let's build that indoor facility for Aggie tennis. What a resilient and impressive run by the A&M women's team this weekend. Okay, I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's false. I'm reaching out for someone else to help me. Is it really true? Is A&M tennis the only tennis team in the SEC that does not have an indoor facility? Is that true? And with the way A&M is spent on facilities, which I guess with Bill Byrne gone, the great facility builder's gone too, because that was his thing. And facilities don't build profits, and we're now at a point in time where it's only profits. So I don't expect to see a new facility for 30 to 80 years. But if a program has shown that they can probably use it, i.e. it won't be wasted, the resources, I guess when you have a dynasty, it would be tennis. But maybe sometimes that really hurts you because the thought is, well, you don't need it. You're winning national championships without an indoor facility. So why would we build you one? Like, are they hurting themselves by being too good? Seriously, think about what I just said. Is it hurting them? Like they win so much that the powers that be go, we're getting away cheap here. They don't need it, man. They're a dynasty and they don't have an indoor. But yeah, yes, please build them one. Eric, I'm at the intersection of Texas and Harvey Road. Thank you for bringing such joy to my day. Cheers, Eric. Man, thank you. Very kind words. Ant-Man. Hey, Lou, listening to 1150 AM on the radio on University Drive, back to work at the big school. Ant-Man. Cool. Annie Bloom, or is it Blum? I'll go with both. Walking under the tunnel from the rec center back to work in the coldest building. Shannon. DL from Troop. Oh, he was Eddie Jasper. His nickname was Troop. Thank you. Okay. Bob and Brian. ARP is near Tyler too. Man, you people don't know how to, narrow things down for me. If anything, you're making me more confused. Troop is next to ARP, and I don't know where ARP or Troop is, but I do know where Tyler is. So I'll just go with that part of the country. One more. It's not signed, so we failed the name part. Maybe they could give their name back because they'll recognize us. But listening as always on 1150 AM, and they're delivering FedEx in Franklin, Texas. Thank you much. So what I'll do is grab an early timeout. We'll come back, and we got to return to the diamond. More Aggie baseball, more Aggie softball. And of course, if you got something to say, you text, and we'll go more of your text messages. 979-693-1150. This is the Louie Bellina Show. We know these things as facts. And it is Monday. And it is the Louie Bellina Show Monday on the Zone.
ESPN Radio has the score. The score. Check in weeknights and weekends here on the Zone.
It is the Louie Bellina Show inside the Charles Schwab studio. It is the Monday edition. Low cost, full service, best of all local. That is Schwab. That is Charles Schwab. It is best of all local because Mark Sim is right here in College Station. You get to experience a modern approach to wealth management. Find Mark online at schwab.com/College Station. Charles Schwab and Company Incorporated, member SIPC. We are, a couple more text messages. I promise you. We're going to get to baseball, softball. I love it. I told you I got the text message, no name, delivering FedEx in Franklin, Texas. You know the name? FedEx Sam. Love it. That's just... Patrick and Brian said make sure to talk some trash to Chip today, go Stros. There ain't a Ranger fan that'll look me in the face after this weekend. Astros are sacrificing players for wins right now. The Astros hit 4 solo shots off of Jacob deGrom to win 4-1. It was glorious. I told you, I have nothing left as an Astros fan. The boot is all I have. And that's exactly what the Astros did, is they put the boot to the Rangers. I'm sorry. It's all I got, man. So you have to excuse me if I'm going to bathe in the boot. No, nobody bathes in a boot, but I celebrate the boot. It's all I got. My apologies. Great text message. 979-693-1150. Something I wanted to share with you before we get to our Aggie baseball listening. D1 baseball, Kendall Rogers, minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, just minutes ago, updated his field of 64 projection. Last four in: NC State, East Carolina, Kentucky, Michigan. First four out: Troy, Texas State, the Bobcats, Kent State, South Alabama, and four to watch. So going into tournament week, it means it's important to them. Four to watch. Don't care about them. Vanderbilt. That's all you need to know. Four to watch. Vanderbilt needs to make some noise. So SEC tournament begins tomorrow. Not if you're A&M. Double bye. A&M does not play till Friday night. It's scheduled for 7, but if I remember how the SEC tournament starts, no game starts on time, and the later you are in the day, the later your game will start. So if you've got like the 6:37 time slot, your first pitch will be like 2 a.m. in the morning. Just here's all you have to know. You'll hear Aggie baseball, all SEC tournament, NCAA regional, NCAA super regional, your Aggie baseball, every game postseason right here on the Zone. 1150 a.m. and 93.7 FM at radioaggieland.com on the Zone app. And you can tell Alexa play Zone 1150. So just understand that whatever time, Friday night, and what LSU, Auburn, of the three possible opponents, they've beaten 2 out of the 3 and played Auburn, man. That was, again, a hand-to-hand. So, okay. That was D1 updated. Now, all you care about, I care about, A&M is an 8, and that's where they were before the weekend. That's where they are now, at 8. I guarantee you, here's the difference. What's the difference, right? They're probably a week 8. And if they'd have lost the series, they would not have been 8. Lock them in at 8 now. There's a difference. They won the series. Lock them in at 8. Still at Southern Miss. So they're still an 8, still Southern Miss. Now, OU was the 2 over in that Southern Miss regional. Now it's Tennessee. TCU is the 3. And Illinois, Chicago is the 4. So how about A&M wins their own regional? And then we welcome TCU for a super. I say let's party. And if you're wondering, here's the rest of the College Station Regional. The 2 would be UC Santa Barbara, and they have a couple of high-end players. That's why, wait, who? Yeah, a couple of high-end players. I'm talking about MLB prospects. UTSA, the regional last year, won the Austin Regional. They play everybody in the midweek. They fear none. And Lamar is 4. So that's the latest updated minutes, 10 of them, 11, I don't know. I'll go at D1 baseball. A&M's the 8, paired with Southern Miss the 9. A&M would get UC Santa Barbara, UTSA, and Lamar. That's a midweek regional for the Aggies, except for the Santa Barbara part. Oregon 1, Georgia Tech 2, your national seats. Georgia 3, North Carolina 4, Texas 5, Bama 6, Auburn 7, A&M 8. Time now. Aggie baseball, listen in. Ethan freaking Daren gets 2 starts on the final weekend of SEC play. And the second one was brilliant. And you just listen. His attitude about it's epic.
Ethan, when did you know you were going to get your second start in 3 days?
Last night after the game. I got home, getting ready for bed, brushed my teeth, and then Coach Kelly texted me and said, what do you say? Have you ever seen anyone start 2 weekend games? I said, LMAO, no, but let's do this. That's what I said. So yeah, I was pretty fired up about that because I've never heard anyone start two out of the 3 weekend games. So I felt honored, and I just knew I had to go out there and compete and just try to give our team a chance to win. So
a little extra juice too because it was senior night and getting to do all that too.
Yeah, trying not to be emotional. I was a little emotional before the game, just thinking about where I've come from and everything I've been through. But there's no place I'd rather be with these guys around me. I know they got my back no matter what. So like, just going out there, I knew it was gonna be a great day.
What was working for you that you're able to give 3 solid innings?
I'd say just commanding the heater. I felt like I was doing a good job commanding the heater and just throwing it down the middle, just letting the defense work behind me. I know those guys are gonna make plays no matter what. So if I just let them hit it, they'll get themselves out, and our guys behind us will make plays. It'll make it look cool. So.
How have you approached moving into the starting rotation, and just how much did that prior experience at Clemson help you for that moment?
Yeah, so I've worked out of the pen every single year in college, and I've worked my way to be a starter. So I'm pretty used to it. This year's a little different though, because I'm trying to keep my mindset of staying in that reliever mindset, just getting one guy out each time, and maybe just getting 1-0 for an inning. And if that's all I need to do, I don't know when I'm getting pulled or not, but that's just my job, just to get a 0 for 1 inning.
What does it say about this team that you come on the second start, you got guys coming off the bench injured who are key, like full team effort kind of thing today?
Yeah, toughness. That's what our team is, just straight toughness, resilience too. Yeah, a lot of banged up guys, a lot of hurt people, but it doesn't matter. We're tough. We're gonna go out there and compete. And we're gonna get everything we have. And if it doesn't work out that day, we know the guy behind us has our back. So. When's
the last time you've seen Hakopian run that hard?
It's been a little minute. So yeah, that's my roommate. So. Yeah.
What'd you see from Cooper Powell, and just what have you seen from him throughout this season, where he's progressed and can step into a moment like that?
Yeah, Powell's had command issues on his heater, but dude, he's got so much life on his fastball. I mean, if he just throws it down the middle, he'll get anybody out. I mean, he's a competitor. He's a dog. He keeps his head down. He works hard. He's a great guy to be around, and he has your back in the pen no matter what. Even if you go out there, give up 4 runs, he's gonna make sure you have your head up after your outing.
So what's Chris been like behind the scenes at home, just trying to nurse that leg back to health?
Yeah, Chris has been fun. I mean, he's a good guy. He's trying his best to work on his mobility and his recovery to get back out there to play for us, because he knows that we need him, and I think everybody knows that we need him in the field too, and we need his bat. So as long as he stays healthy and he's been doing a good job, he should be in a good spot.
What do you think it meant to him to score the way he did, having to leg out 2 bases like that?
Oh yeah.
And what did that mean to him?
The world. You see his energy. You can watch on TV. You see his energy in the dugout. Me and him were just trying to keep everybody up. I mean, and he does a great job of just bringing that energy, even if he's not playing in the field, because he wants to win just as bad as anybody else.
How big is a win like today as you guys get ready for Hooper?
Yeah. So we lose the last 2 series. Yeah, it's a good momentum builder and confidence builder for us to go into this tournament. We don't know who's starting, what's going to happen. I could go out there and, who knows, start again. But we're all ready. We're all hands on deck. So that's all that matters.
Do you think Coach Early should be Coach of the Year in the SEC? And what do you think about the job he's done for you guys this year?
Early's a great coach. I love Early, man. He always has your back no matter what. And his fiery energy in the dugout just brings us all together. I mean, that's who someone you want to play for. Someone that's going to fire you up and have your back no matter what. So, yeah.
How were you guys able to respond from that 3rd inning Thursday night and the first game not going so well, and to still win the series after that?
Well, I feel like we all thought that 3rd inning was just a fluke. To get 11 hits, 7 or 8 of them infield singles, like there's a lot of infield singles. We know that's not who we are, and it happens. It's baseball. I mean, it's going to happen. So we just got to keep our heads held high and have a short-term memory. Just forget about the last game, because we always got one more. We always got this one.
Coach said you guys got to catch a vibe as you get ready to go to Alabama. So how would you explain the vibe of this group as you guys get ready to go?
It's fun. I mean, I love every single guy on this team. I mean, we'll all go hang out at the pool and just play around and play hacky sack at the pool or whatever. And it brings us together, like, outside of the field. Everybody wants to do something with each other. So, I mean, it's a good team bonding, family vibe. And, good vibes.
Ethan Daren after the victory Saturday, Game 3. And if you were listening, there was that bleep, that pause. That was editing, not me. I mean, and it needed to be, because he got really excited. And he said, let's do this. Listen one more time.
When did you know you were going to get your second start in 3 days?
Last night.
And he's going to say his answer to the pitching coach was, let's do this.
Brush my teeth.
The pause. He got fired up. I love it. Real.
What do you say? Have you ever seen anyone start 2 weekend games? I said, LMAO, no. Let's do this.
Let's do this. And bleep. Good stuff. And when we listen to the Aggie softball players, it's Coach Ford, Kennedy Powell, and Maya President. I believe it's Powell said, we go balls to the wall. This is female softball players saying we go balls to the wall. And I appreciate and enjoy some realism when players speak like we used to, or like 20 to 25-year-olds and 18, what am I saying, to 24-year-olds. It fires me up, man. Let's do this, bleep. Yeah, that should be the reaction when the coaches are entrusting you that way and you believe in yourself and them, and let's do this, bleep. That's so awesome. When we come back, Aggie softball. Let's talk about it. Let's listen to it. Season ended. I think shockingly, even if you thought they wouldn't advance out of their own regional, they never beat Arizona State in 2 games. I'd say shockingly. It is the Louie Bellina Show. It is Monday. I'm inside the Charles Schwab studio on the Zone.
The Louie Bellina Show. You know how we do. Don't miss the monthly beer recommendations with Alan Ward of Brigadoon Brewery.
Come on, let's go.
Join Louie weekdays 11 to 2 on the Zone.
The Louie Bellina Show, Monday. Down the stretch we come. Not quite, but down the stretch we come. And I've been waiting. I haven't really wanted to rush into this, but Aggie softball hosting a regional, and they did not advance. Very straightforward. Matter of fact, they ended up going 2-2. They beat UConn twice, but they lost to Arizona State twice. They could not force the second regional final. They got run ruled yesterday, 9-1. It was a walk-off grand slam. They lost in 5 to Arizona State. And this was a thorough, you'd imagine any run rule victory is pretty thorough, but Arizona State with 2 in the first, 3 in the second. That's 5, and then the grand slam in the 5th. 9-1 final, 12 hits. The key moment in the game, it was, I believe, A&M's 3rd inning, 3-1 game. Aggies get the first 2 on, so a chance to cut into that 3-1 game on top, just a chance to get back into it. And heart of the order, too. Arizona State was done messing around. They didn't throw their ace, Kenzie Brown, to start the game. And at 3-1, they brought her in, 2 on, nobody out. And I believe she struck out the first batter. And this is A&M's heart of the order. And needless to say, she got out of the inning with no damage. And A&M's frustration, I watched quite a few of the games. And what bothered me the most, I guess, besides losing, who would not be bothered by losing, the players are visibly frustrated. They visibly kind of lost their composure. You could see during the at-bats how the tension mounted, and you can't perform and execute like that. It's interesting. Maybe I'm overdoing it, but I think it was obvious that the horror of last year, it must have been in their heads this year because there's too much pressure. During at-bats, you saw it. Mounting. Visibly. And A&M was eliminated. They were one of 3 national seeds that got eliminated. 13 of the 16 national seeds advanced in softball, all the top 8 seeds. Florida State at the 9, eliminated. Oregon at 14, A&M at 15. 13 of 16 advanced. And I kind of think we don't care one bit about the other ones. For A&M now, back-to-back years, they were hosting, and they did not advance. Last year, as we know, they were the number one overall, and it's the first time in college softball history that the number one did not advance out of a regional. So that was historical. What happened this year happens, but when it's back-to-back, and again, and in this manner, they never beat Arizona State, didn't force the regional final game. They weren't competitive. in the game yesterday. Here's A&M softball head coach Trisha Ford after the season ended, after the elimination yesterday.
A tough one, you know. I think, you know, obviously ASU came out ready to play, and you know, we didn't execute when we needed to. As a, you know, overall a solid season. I have a lady next to me that has done a lot for our program and worked her tail off and really led us this year, and it sucks. Like, there's nothing, you know, no easy way to say it. We're gonna get over this hump.
Any questions for Kennedy? We'll go to Cease in the front row.
Yeah, Kennedy, slow start. I know you didn't plan a slow start. Was anything different about this game because they jumped right on you? Anything different feel about this game, or what about the slow start?
Nothing necessarily. We just kind of wanted to find our groove, I think, and they capitalized on some runners in scoring positions and stuff like that, but not necessarily, I don't think, a slow start. Just kind of trying to find our groove. We played 2 tough games yesterday, and came back here early, so just trying to get back into it was our main goal.
We'll stay on that front row in the middle to Kenny.
KP, can you put into words what your time at Texas A&M has meant?
Yeah, it's meant a lot. I mean, it was just great to come back home and get to play in front of the 12th man. I just want to thank these coaches, you know, for bringing me back home and just letting me be me. I think that was one of the main things that I was looking for, and so it was just great to be here and great to have the support of the 12th man and the coaches, for sure.
We'll go back to TV row on the left side.
Thank you. Kennedy, walking off the field today, looking back at just today and this weekend in general, what is your proudest moment about being a part of this program, being an Aggie?
I mean, so many, but I just think the way that I fight every time I'm on the field. I'm always competing, and that's just something I wanted to leave behind and kind of just instill in my teammates coming behind me. So I think, you know, just the way I compete every day at practice, in the games, and just I think that's the main thing for me that I wanted to leave here.
Anything else for Kennedy? We'll go back to Cease.
Kennedy, you played for 3 great teams with a lot of success.
The Houston Astros come to play.
Well,
tough
that
one, you
was
know?
a mistake.
I think, you know, obviously ASU came out ready to play, and you know, we didn't execute when we needed to. As a, you know, overall a solid season. I have a lady next to me that has done a lot for our program and worked her tail off and really led us this year, and it sucks. Like, there's nothing, you know, no easy way to say it. We're gonna get over this hump.
Any questions for Kennedy? We'll go to Cease in the front row.
Yeah, Kennedy, slow start. I know you didn't plan a slow start. Was anything different about this game because they jumped right on you? Anything different feel about this game, or what about the slow start?
Nothing necessarily. We just kind of wanted to find our groove, I think, and they capitalized on some runners in scoring positions and stuff like that, but not necessarily, I don't think, a slow start. Just kind of trying to find our groove. We played 2 tough games yesterday, and came back here early, so just trying to get back into it was our main goal.
We'll stay on that front row in the middle to Kenny.
KP, can you put into words what your time at Texas A&M has meant?
Yeah, it's meant a lot. I mean, it was just great to come back home and get to play in front of the 12th man. I just want to thank these coaches, you know, for bringing me back home and just letting me be me. I think that was one of the main things that I was looking for, and so it was just great to be here and great to have the support of the 12th man and the coaches, for sure.
We'll go back to TV row on the left side.
Thank you. Kennedy, walking off the field today, looking back at just today and this weekend in general, what is your proudest moment about being a part of this program, being an Aggie?
I mean, so many, but I just think the way that I fight every time I'm on the field. I'm always competing, and that's just something I wanted to leave behind and kind of just instill in my teammates coming behind me. So I think, you know, just the way I compete every day at practice, in the games, and just I think that's the main thing for me that I wanted to leave here.
Anything else for Kennedy? We'll go back to Cease.
Kennedy, you played for 3 great teams with a lot of success. Was there anything different about this team? What might you remember most about this team?
I mean, there's something I remember from every team I've played on. This one in particular, just the way we were so close. and the way, you know, we had fun with each other on and off the field. I think that's going to stick with us forever, even though we won't be playing together as a unit anymore. But that was, I mean, just how close-knit we were and how much fun we had off the field, I think was the main thing, and we translated that onto the field.
We'll go one more on the far side of TV Road.
KP, I'm just wondering, as you now sort of put the college career behind you, just what are the couple things that you do hope that when you watch A&M next year, the things that you pass down to them that you hope to most see?
Yeah, I mean, kind of what I said earlier, we'll always compete. I mean, Coach Ford's our coach, he's always competing, so that's non-negotiable for us. But just kind of, she said earlier, the adversity we went through, and so learning and growing from that adversity, because we were a young team this year, so I just hope to continue to see them grow and get better. Grow with the game. I think that's the main thing for sure.
All right, it looks like that's all we have for you.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Great career.
Thank you, guys.
Who would like to start us with questions for Coach? We'll go to Cecil and Frank.
Yeah, just the fact they jump on you right off the bat. I know you always talk about coming out. It seemed like you were almost down 5-1 before the game even started. Any vibe of how that came about?
Yeah, I thought Peters gave us everything she had in the circle. I mean, she pitched really good yesterday, and I rolled her back out there today. You know, Kate came in. I don't know that I've seen a second inning like that before. I mean, she did what she was supposed to do, and just the ball found the dirt a lot. And she came out and executed her pitches. And so sometimes that's how it goes. And so we just got to keep working.
We'll go to the right side of TV row.
As you guys were starting to see ASU's offense pick up, what were you saying to your team in the dugout as that was happening?
Yeah, just chip away. That's something that I think we've done a really good job all year of, when things get a little sideways, they've been able to, put a couple runs up and then put a couple more runs up. And so that was just our message is like chip away and just pass the bat, have good at-bats. I think, you look at our, Kelsey Mathis and, Paisley, there's some really big hits, and they were just moving that lineup over to get it back up top to, KP and Maya and Talon and Wark. So let's just keep rolling.
Coach, go to the left side of TV row and then that second row.
Coach, it's kind of hard to walk away from a game like this as a player and not feel like you could have done more. What are you saying to these girls to make them feel proud about what they've put in this season?
Well, I think, you have to, it's hard right now. I think, emotions are high. But I think, when you look at our season overall, there's a lot of things that this team accomplished. I'm sure Tyler has all the stats, but, Maya Perez being on base, the longest, Division I player. I think we tied our SEC conference wins. I think that there is a lot, and like KP said, and we've been talking about all year, of just how cohesive this group was and how much they enjoyed playing with each other. So I think, there's a lot of good things for us to build on, and we were really a team of seniors and sophomores, and so there's a lot of, upswing, I think, here of getting that experience under their belt.
We'll take two from the right side of the second round.
Zoe Collins-Rath, Austin American Statesman. Coach Ford, you mentioned earlier in the season that you may have relied on Emily Kennedy a little bit too much for the postseason. Can you talk about the growth of your bullpen for this regional and how they've grown and evolved and how they were sort of prepared and how you sort of thought about the rotation?
Yeah, I think, Kate Munnerlin, Sydney Peters, and Sydney Lessentine, they've had really, really good moments, and I think we all saw it this year. And for the most part, they're all sophomores. Sydney's technically a junior, but from a playing standpoint, this was her first real full season of playing. And so I think we just have to get consistent, and that's my biggest message to them is we have moments of brilliance and then moments where, we leave the ball where it shouldn't be. And so I just think we need to, keep working through that. And, we were talking, earlier in the year, earlier in this week too, like if you look across the country, there's plenty of top level pitchers that are kind of going through it. And it's those that persevere and get through it that are the ones that end up on top.
We'll go to text action, then the battalion.
Kayla Gaither, Texags. Coach, what's your message to the 12th man just after a loss like this? What's your message for the program moving forward for our fans?
Yeah, I mean, I think, first of all, thank you for showing up. Thank you for making Davis Diamond an electric place. And, stick with us. I think that's we're building something. I can see what's coming in the horizon. We have to make some adjustments. And, I think there's a lot of good softball that's been played at Davis Diamond the last couple of years. And we just have to elevate it at the end of the year.
I know it's hard to kind of look back right now, but when you look at this individual group of players, what's kind of going to be your lasting memory of this team? Yeah, just their cohesiveness. I think, KP really stepped up this year and took the lead. We had the basically seniors and the sophomores, and it was a bridge to fill, and I thought they bridged that gap really well. And so I think it has a lot to do with our upperclassmen. You think of our Talons and Michaela and Maya and KP. I think they really helped in bridging that gap.
Go to the right side of TV row and then back to the second row.
Trisha, you talked about whether it was after last year's regional or the South Carolina series or Auburn, that sometimes things just get really hard really fast. Obviously, that was the same thing in this regional. Just what were the things you feel like you could have done to maybe push through? And I know it's hard because sometimes things just don't go your way.
Yeah, I think we just have to keep working in the circle. I think, we just have to just have some confidence in there. And I think we keep battling. I mean, it's nothing that's crazy that I feel like we're doing wrong. I mean, again, I go back to that second inning today, just nothing kind of went our way. So you have to make sometimes your own path and your own momentum. And so I think just continuing to learn from that.
We'll go to the States. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Just look at this group. A lot of young players. You said senior, sophomore. Just how much do you think the solution of getting past this round is already on this roster for next year?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I think we have a lot of pieces returning. We have a strong freshman incoming class that's going to be good, and we'll be, active, this summer, in the portal. So I think we always figure it out. We always, come and we'll get competitive, and I know that we'll compete our tails off like we did this year.
We'll go to Statesman and then KA&M.
Zoe Collins-Rath, All-American Statesman. It's no secret that the SEC is one of the hardest softball conferences to play in. What is it about the regional round that just is a little bit harder, and how do you get over that hump?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to execute at a higher level. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I think, we've been through it. We've played everybody. We just have to, at the end, really come together and play our best game, our best ball. And so, we just you gotta keep fighting. Like, sometimes the really hard stuff sucks, and then on the horizon is the really good stuff. And so that's my message, is just stick with us. Same with our team. Like, we know what we are building. We know, and sometimes it sucks, but everything that's worth doing, you go through this, and it hurts. And so you got to use it to motivate you.
That wraps up our listening. A&M softball head coach Trisha Ford. And again, we've been listening to the Diamond Sports. In hour number 1, it was Caden Sorrell, Trisha Ford. Earlier, Ethan Daren. That was A&M softball head coach Trisha Ford. Their season ended again in the region around, again on their own field, Davis Diamond, back-to-back years. When we come back, put a bow on it. We're done with the Louie Bellina Show Monday edition, presented by CC Electric. Built on faith, family, and community, CC Electric, they do residential and commercial and industrial services. That's CC Electric.
The Louie Bellina Show. Who is it? Participation is rewarded. The ticket booth is brought to you by Dixie Tire Company. Listen in weekdays 11 to 2 on The Zone.
The Louie Bellina Show, done. Got like 20 seconds left. I'm back tomorrow. Tomorrow, Olin Buchanan, Joe Sheehan, Community Spotlight. Yeah, there's something else too. I forget, but we'll figure it out tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out with me. Roll call was awesome, fun. Diamond Sports, but congrats to A&M women's tennis. Peace.